Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Erin Kiskaddon, and I'll be presenting a brief summation of a huge body of work done in collaboration between the Water Institute of the Gulf and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. This talk is titled A Strategic Conservation Blueprint for Natural Resource Management in the Northern Gulf of Mexico. First, I'd like to introduce the Southeast Conservation Adaptation Strategy, also known as SECAS. SECAS was developed and is maintained by the states of the Southeast Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and federal agencies of the Southeast Natural Resources Leaders Group. SECAS operates around a shared vision for the future that includes increased landscape level planning for heightened ecosystem connectivity, integrity, and productivity to ensure long-lasting natural resource benefits and community well-being. A key tool in guiding this vision is called the Southeast Conservation Blueprint, shown here. This is a geospatial dataset that identifies areas of high and medium conservation value, here shown in shades of blue. This tool was developed from a series of smaller spatial plans that reflect local stakeholder priorities, which means an area of high conservation value may mean slightly different things when looking in Louisiana compared to Florida. To address the needs of restoration planning and increase utility of this planning tool across the Gulf coastal region, we determined that we would need to increase consistency in natural resource valuation by developing regionally consistent data sets and a uniform analytical approach specific to the Gulf region. This effort involved the synthesis of 3 categories of Gulf-wide information. The first, shown here, reflects an analysis of natural resource value. Sublayers include habitat condition, shared priority natural resources, recreational access, natural resource dependence, and economic well-being. The sublayers integrated into the natural resource value analysis are shown here. A single analytical framework based on the zonation software was used to calculate natural resource prioritization by equally weighing each of these data layers. The final product is a synthetic data layer reflecting natural resource prioritization across the Gulf-wide area. The second component of this project involved an analysis of ecosystem stress. 11 sources of ecosystem stress were identified for the Gulf Coast region and are shown here. Each indicator of ecosystem stress was mapped as an index across the Gulf-wide area. Together, these indices of ecosystem stress were combined in an unweighted sum to reflect total potential ecosystem stress. The third component of this work involved the calculation of a Gulf-wide social vulnerability index based on over 40 variables. 6 key variables explain most of the variation through PCA analysis in the social vulnerability index. These include population stability, rural population, economic status, elderly population, professional workforce, and migrant workforce vulnerabilities. The final layer maps Gulf-wide social vulnerability at the census block scale. Used together, natural resource value, ecosystem stress, and social vulnerability can inform multiple benefits of restoration action for natural resources and vulnerable communities. In developing this Gulf-wide information resource, we find significant opportunity to communicate benefits at project and programmatic scales. The underlying data layers can further tease apart specific collateral benefits of restoration and conservation action related to value to natural resources and benefits to socially vulnerable communities. Potential management considerations to mitigate sources of ecosystem stress could also be determined from this information. Together, these 3 components can allow planners to communicate benefits and considerations to potential funders across the Northern Gulf of Mexico region. Lastly, this work was not done in a vacuum. There are many existing tools and resources for planners to use. This project provides additional information that will be fully transparent in methodology and made freely available to the public. This work will also build the capacity of the Strategic Conservation Assessment Project tools to increase information resources available to planners along the Gulf Coast. Thank you all for attending my talk.